Okay, moving on to the Punch. Rivers plans parallel secretariats as police bar for Barra caretaker chairman. Cholera, NCDC may declare emergency. Lagos issues safety guidelines. And FG eyes $4.4 billion new loans as debt hits 101 trillion naira actually. Waike has a few stories inside. Who would like to go first, Waike?
Okay, should I go?
Go ahead, Nima.
No, you go.
Go on.
Okay, so the federal government is looking at an additional $4.4 billion dollar loan. And already, based on what we calculated, as reported by the Punch, as of December, 12 months ago, we took a $4.9 billion dollar loan. And in the past 12 months, we have a total of bringing the total of our loans to 101 trillion naira amidst, all the increasing cost and of debt servicing and worries around the country. The debt as at 2023 was 97 trillion, but with our 4.9 billion, we raised it to 101 trillion. And now we're looking at this 4.4 billion loan from the World Bank, IMF again, which will further increase our debt. We had, over the years, gotten some loan from them. Punch found out that in 2023 June, we had a $750 million loan given by this World Bank to boost Nigeria's power sector. We have not seen the results. We also got a $500 million in June 2027, a loan to drive women empowerment. I don't see them. We also got a September 2023 World Bank loan approved to build to the tune of $700 million to boost educational opportunities and empowerment for adolescent girls in Nigeria. And the loan was also to support ongoing adolescent girls initiative for learning and empowerment project. If we start to see maybe some results from all of this loan, we also got another $750 million for the distribution that was distributed for the renewable energy scale-up in Nigeria. We have projects of 17.5 million to raise 17.5 million Nigerians out of poverty and give them better access to electricity. But we've not seen a lot of these results, and the loans keep piling up. So we need to start to see the result of some of the loan we already took. And I hope that Nigerians are not using these opportunities to just get money without really developing.
Right. So the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention said on Wednesday it might declare an emergency on the outbreak of cholera. The NCDC Director General, Dr. Idris, who spoke in Lagos, said that the center is monitoring the situation and might declare an emergency if they see the data and the data shows it's going up. We had a meeting, we had the Dr. Ogunyemi was here yesterday, and she said that they had observed the downward spiral of cholera and they believe there's no cause for alarm. But NCDC is saying, based on the data from the World Health Organization, that there's an outbreak of cholera in 30 states. They recorded over 1,141 suspected cases across the 36 states, 65 confirmed. 30 deaths had been reported in 96 local governments. Lagos State, we had 350 suspected cases, 29 confirmed, 19 confirmed cases, and 15 fatalities attributed to severe dehydration, which she mentioned yesterday. So
yeah, she actually said 15.
15, yeah. So they're saying that they've been tracking the cholera. I mean, NCDC is tracking it. Hopefully, the results they get from Lagos shows that there'll be a downward spiral, as she has said, and there wouldn't be any need for an emergency or a national emergency.
Yeah, so I took the story inside on the video and his baby mama.
Right.
Apparently, he's taken her to court to get joint custody of their baby. Their baby's name is...
Imadi.
Imadi, yes. And she was born in 2015. He's a 44-paragraph suit, and he says that in the suit, he says that he has been paying 5 million rent for the apartment, even though he bought a 200 million naira condominium for her and the baby with the swimming pool in a private area. But the baby mama has said no, she doesn't want it. She still wants the 5 million rent. He bought her a Range Rover, an SUV Range Rover. She's been using it, but then he got his call from the school 2 weeks ago saying the girl hasn't been coming to school. So He called her that, why hasn't she been going to school? He says because the Range Rover has faults. It's faulty, so she can't take her to school. So he gave her another car to use, and she also charged him 5.8 million to repair the Range Rover. So she has 2 vehicles in her custody. So he now wants joint custody of the baby.
Interesting.
Yes, I have a story on the inside. Really sad story. The account is given by Miss Joy Boderick, the daughter of Mrs. Charity, a 55-year-old woman who died while receiving treatment. The sad part about the story is it was medical complication based on diabetes that she had, but when they noticed she wasn't feeling fine, they rushed her to the hospital. They live in, it was around Ogba. They took her to Ogba, the hospital there. They said when they got to St. Luke Hospital, they ran some tests. The medical center said that based on the results they were seeing, they should take her to General Hospital. So they took her to General Hospital, CMC Lagos Island. Then General Hospital, they didn't have bed. So they took them to General Hospital Bagada, no bed. Federal Medical Center, no bed. It was from the Federal Medical, she went to like 4 hospitals where she wasn't getting treated because there was no bed space before they were now recommended that she should go to the Federal Medical Center the military, to go to the military hospital in Yaba. And this is from Ogba all the way to the island, back to the mainland, back to the island. So when they got to the hospital, they said they wouldn't treat this woman until a payment of 300,000 naira was made and 20,000 naira for card. She said she couldn't even do the transfer. She showed them she had 400,000 naira and that she would make the payment. So they started treatment. 2 days after the woman died, she said they didn't get treatment for hours because they couldn't make the payment. So she had to show these doctors and personnel in the bank that I have money. I can't do this amount of money as transfer. Long and short is they've not released the dead body. They said the bill, after paying 320,000 naira, that the bill that accumulated over the 2-day period is over 500,000 naira. And if she does not pay that 500,000 naira, they will not release the body of
They should hold it now.
To her. So she's now appealing that probably the woman wouldn't have died if she had gotten medical treatment in time. Now she has spent out what she has and still they will not release the body based on the bills piled up. I don't even know how to deal, because whenever people already die from medical treatment, it's always a bit tough to get payments to be made, and the hospitals look at it that they need to get paid. So this idea of insurance is extremely important so that people can get treated in time without having to worry about how much I have to pay down or pay during the treatment.
Okay, unfortunately, we have to move on, but it's a really sad situation. Minimum wage, why governors, others are foot dragging. Naira depreciation makes Lagos, Abuja cheapest global cities for expatriates, says report. Cholera outbreak, FG may declare emergency, says NCDC. Edo Guba, PDP expels Shebu Obi, anti-party with cites anti-party activities. Why we target assets of drug barons, traffickers, says Marwa. Makinde approves Olakunle's appointment as 43rd Olubadan. Obaseki gives Edo CP 7 days to fish out killers of Unibedding graduates, and Rivers crisis for Bara orders proof of local government accounts. Okay, which story?
I have the Edo State story, the story of Glory, Miss Glory Adekolure Idowu, who was sadly raped and murdered. And the spokesperson of the governor of Edo State says the governor is extending his condolences to the family, also giving the CP of the state, Funsho Adegboye, a 7-day ultimatum to order to immediately investigate the death of Miss Glory and fish out the perpetrators of the crime. And the story then recounts how she died, which is very sad, but my heart is with her family at this time.
Sorry, I'm really sad. Let me take the minimum wage. So while we're waiting for the president to, president's executive bill on minimum wage, new minimum wage to the National Assembly, lots of the states may need bailouts or retrench their workers to be able to pay the current 62,000 naira being proposed by the federal government and the organized private sector. According to the report here in Vanguard, says that that the increment was paltry, even the fact that they've been collecting more money from the federal allocation. The difference is quite small and it's not enough to sustain the 62,000 naira minimum wage. Meanwhile, the organized private sector yesterday said that there was nothing like an agreement in the just concluded meeting with the tripartite committee on the new minimum wage. This is coming as Governor Nasir Idris of Kebbi State distanced himself from governors who gave hints of inability to pay the 62,000 minimum wage. So there's a lot of headache with the governors because many of them are saying they are not able to pay. Senator Ahmed Wadada, SDP Nasarawa West, urged President Tinubu to approve at least 150,000 as new minimum wage. Currently, the 30,000 naira that they are even approved now, I don't know how many states are paying that or even able to pay that. So we'll see how that goes. Our final paper this morning, the Nigerian Tribune, let's find a story we've not taken. Why we target assets of drug barons and traffickers in the LA. Recruitment Police Service Commission Union calls for removal of IGP. Nigeria partners U.S. agency to send first Nigerian to space. And Makinde approves Olakunle as 43rd Olubadan. Okay.
So I had a story on the fact that Lagos and Abuja have become one of the cheapest cities to live for global expatriates. This happened based on the fact that the Naira was devalued against the dollar, and the calculation before March 2023 put Lagos at 47th most expensive city. But by March 2024, Lagos had ranked 225. Like from 44, the drop was huge. That's because they're judging it based on ability of expatriates to live in this area. They can live large if they are living in Nigeria, because the cost of living here has, if you are earning in dollar, has dropped significantly. However, other countries have increased in their own based on the economic power that they have. I guess this would have been a good news if Nigeria was an extremely safe place. People would, they're doing off, what do you call those, online jobs. They can work anywhere, remote working. They can work anywhere and live in a place that is cheap. But because Nigeria has that issue of safety as well, it might not necessarily be such good news for us. That's just the
Okay, I have a story for Total. Total Energy and NNPCL Total actually would invest $550 million. I wish it was billion. Will invest $550 million to develop the gas processing facility in southern part of Rivers State.
Awesome.
To boost exports and domestic supplies in the NNPC. This was from the NNPC source. According to Reuters, the investment will include gas processing plants and a pipeline that that would move across the state. He said that Total declined to comment on this, but NNPC source said an announcement will be made this week, so we're all expecting to hear that official announcement. The gas processing facility will be built on the Ubeta onshore gas field, jointly owned by Total and NNPC, and will supply gas to the Nigeria liquefied natural gas, that's NLNG. When completed, the plant will generate 350 million standard cubic feet per day of gas. That is 10,000 barrels per day of associated liquid, said the source. That's good news for Nigeria because we have one of the largest, if not Africa's largest natural gas reserves for 200 trillion cubic feet. So that's big news. Okay, we have to wrap up this.
They're asking the police union, the joint union of the Congress. The story is tagged recruitment issues, and they are calling for the removal of our IGP. Said that he has misled the president, and what he's done is there are a lot of corruption. The recruitment process has a lot of corruption and irregularities. So the Joint Union Congress of the Police Service Commission, which is the umbrella commission for the Police Service Commissioner, said that they are asking the president to make the IGP step down as a way to resolve the issues going on within the recruitment process of the police.
That is all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we'll move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. I just got information that we've been cut off from the TVC News. You can watch us on GoTV and Star Times because we have to cover the flag-off ceremony for the construction of Gusau International Airport. So for those of you who have family and friends who could have been watching us on news, inform them they can catch us on YouTube or GoTV Star Times. We'll be happy to have them back on the show. Now, joining us on this segment is a certified cognitive behavioral therapist and family life coach, popularly known as Dear Coach Lara. She specializes in healing, family life, and mind reprogramming. Welcome with us, Lara Kudaisi Don Momo in the building.
Welcome.
Good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Honestly, so we wanted to just gist with you today, but we had a long segment, of sports, but it's all good.
Yeah.
So there's a story that caught our attention that I would just like to hear your thoughts, but I also like to get the ladies' views too, about a man that says that he was telling a woman that he loves her, they were being together, but he cannot promise her marriage because he doesn't have any intention for having that document called marriage certificate. Now, it's possible that man could have learned a few lessons from YK and her partner, saying, you know what, there are people doing partnerships now, and YK is happy. She's doing very well. So why do we have to must we have a document? Can't we just be happy and being partners? And you love me, my family knows you, I'm not cheating on you. Let the document not be our bond. Let us not be bound by documents. Let us just love. What do you guys think about it?
Let the document not define us.
Let the document not define us. So, Mike, you want to start?
It's a piece of paper.
Mike, let me start with you. So what are your thoughts on this man? Do you agree that this man, he can promise you love, but he's not promising you marriage? Should you stay?
It's up to you. It's totally your own decision. I know of a couple, at least you know the female. I will tell you after the show. She was going out with this guy. They went out for like 6-7 years. But the guy, handsome, everything, has no intention of marriage. Loved her, was very okay with her, but he was not going to get married. And she wanted to get married. So they broke up. They broke up, and he went on his merry way. He's having other girlfriends. But I haven't heard him get married. But the girl is still looking for a man to marry.
Yeah.
So it depends. It's totally, I think.
But she could have stayed with that man and still be happy.
Exactly.
Because of that. So without that document, she would have still been happy. Because if that's what she wanted, a union, it's possible.
So there's a level of security that you'll be happy.
Yeah.
Whether you are binded by a document or not. There's a level of security, and it's not just material security. There's a level of security that when you have it, you will never be happy, even if you're so more in love than the other party is with you in that relationship. We have certain expectations, and they're all different. For a man, if they call you to account from now to tomorrow, they'll keep preaching and begging you. But for a woman, time clocks, everything, and other things are in between. You don't want to be in a relationship. If I was at YK's age, I would enjoy this kind of freedom. But if I am at my age, or as young as I am, and I don't have kids yet, I don't even want to have kids and be explaining to them that daddy is across the road, me, I'm here, we are partners.
Let me come to our
there's
guest.
a level of security.
Is this document really important? Because the reason I'm asking you, and I want you to hear other views before you come in, because I want us to just be realistic of today's times.
Yes.
A lot of women are saying, listen, this thing called marriage might not work. Because even when they hear marriage, they run away. But if you are willing to just be two adults staying together, maybe it might be a better option. What do you think?
So I think it's just like we said, it's a matter of value system, people's values. You understand, cultural beliefs, expectations, and which is what guides us mostly in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. So, but now, like you said, times are evolving. People are coming with different things. So if there's a man who doesn't want to get married, and there's a woman who thinks there's no big deal in getting married, of course, they can go together. But the problem happens when the man is dating a woman that has the intentions of getting married, but he now comes after 5 years or 4 years and now says, I don't want to get married. That's the problem. That's where definition from the beginning starts. You understand? When you guys meet, you understand what are your plans, what are your goals, would you like to get married, would you not like to get married, you know? And Nima was saying the other time that when you have kids, you know, you don't want, some people have kids in that union, and that's the way they bring them up. It still goes to values, expectations, you know, cultural beliefs and things like that. But it's safer to have a union.
I like what you see. I like the word you use, safer.
Yes.
But Adam and Eve, there was no certificate. You see, someone will tell you that, listen, I can love you and respect you. You love me and respect, and we can be committed to each other. Without this document, because all these documents gives you is that safety.
Yeah.
But if you are two adults and you're committed to each other, Mike is not worried about the document because she feels safe already. Yes. So, but let me come to you, Tokwe, because as I said, I understand values. I understand what is right, how we're raised. But I'm saying, is there a possibility for us to begin to tweak these expectations because of people's needs of today?
Sorry, I just want to quickly say, before Theo and I, when I was younger, I got married now. I can now decide because I have experienced it. So I would not talk for a young person who would want to get married, because me too, at that age, if you had told me at that age, let's have a partnership. Which partnership? No, I must marry, you know.
Yeah.
So
marriage is a partnership. Actually, it is.
Documented
it's
partnership.
a documented partnership. And culturally, we didn't used to have documents to back up marriage in Nigeria. Our culture was, once your family have handed over, you have come, you've prostrated, you've paid bride price. There was no document. It was a commitment of, I have come to meet your family, we have agreed you're now married, continue. And you go to the husband's house. The family now meets during family occasion, and that's the end. So the idea of having a physical document is not cultural. It is not our own natural culture. It is a legal, it's an imported culture, and it is because we have gone modern. You want to travel, you need to show proof that you are now in a relationship. And if I say I'm not showing, my proof is a picture of my wedding and our children together, that is enough proof actually. But if you want to now go into a banking thing, or you want to change your documents, or you want to get a new passport, or those are all the reasons modern times have brought around this need for formal documentation. Why and a partner wants to travel to a country and they want to go as a couple, the question will come up, how are you a couple? You need to prove how you're a couple. That's where the documentation comes in. Having children and you don't have the same name, and we're trying to choose what name the children will have.
But somebody can argue, Tokwe, is that, okay, let me let you finish.
Documentation is not a proof of commitment.
Okay.
And documentation is not a proof of faithfulness. And many times we think it is by that documentation that will be guaranteed happiness, commitment, and faithfulness. No. Document just helps formalize the relationship for the sake of all the legal and other things.
So let me build on that for a second. Now come to you, Nima. Because the time when this document was required, a lot of women probably weren't working. We needed protection from our husbands to make sure that when he dies, I inherit. When my children are grown, they have something. But today, women are well empowered. They are working. They have their own money. This document that is this security I'm looking for, it's not just to say Mrs. Somebody. It's not what I need. It's not going to protect me because I can protect myself.
Out of a document, it is legitimacy. Legitimacy is recognition. From where I come from, it is not a piece of paper. It is my family knowing this is my own person. If I born 25, that is their father. Yes. That's where the issue of whether the child is acknowledged or not comes in. The legitimacy of that relationship is beyond that paper that you people sign.
Exactly.
2 people were photoed this morning on my way to work when I was in traffic. I saw a video of 2 people in Akure. They went to the registry. They wore Dunlop slippers. They dressed anyhow to get their court papers for their marriage. That's not the legitimacy we're talking about. In Islam, when you marry, your parents, both 2 parties from your side, 2 parties from his side, will be seated. That's giving it legitimacy to that union you want to start to have with that individual.
Not the paper.
Not the paper. Then there's a celebration. We'll call a publicity, what we call the walima, that you do a wedding. People will now say, okay, the father and mother were there. But now the whole world should know that Nima belongs to Zib. Simple. So beyond that, I cannot now own you, except when I'm not entitled to you. You're not entitled to me. I'm free if that did not happen. If I have a document with you and I'm not committed, there's no legitimacy, my family don't know you, I can carry document and be giving them at every embassy that I need to put documents.
Let me go to shop because I'll let you jump in after this break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us now to discuss is Miye Akiri, the TVC News Sports producer, reporter. You can join the conversation on 081-0764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read the tweet. All right. Before you came in, Nima was trying to explain to us that Victor Osimhen is somebody that is a patriot, you know, and I know that Nima also... I know patriot, anybody who's a patriot, Nima is likely to be their fans, you know, so there's a possibility she's correct. But I'd like you to give us a bit of a background on what are your thoughts on what happened with this matter of Finidi George and Victor Osimhen. Well,
let me start by saying good morning. Good to be here.
Good morning.
But I've followed the development of Victor Osimhen, Finidi George, and I must say there are half-baked truth in all of this. Let me start from the 12th of June. 12th of June, I was in the office, and I got a call from Abuja where the TVC News Chief Bureau person, Ayozugbaku, spoke with the Minister of Sports. And the Minister of Sports, he asked the question that what will be done to the Super Eagles' performance so far in the World Cup qualifying race? And the Minister of Sports replied by saying he will be meeting with officials of the Nigerian Football Federation. Now, the minister invited top officials of the Nigerian Football Federation and invited Finidi George to explain Nigeria's dismal performances so far in the two matches, South Africa, Benin Republic. What has gone wrong? What is happening? Let's identify the problem, then try and fix a solution to know where we are headed. Finidi was also given an opportunity to talk after the NFF officials spoke. Now, I'm trying to go to what triggered Victor Osimhen's live interview on social media. There were 6 people in that meeting. The president of the Nigerian Football Federation, Ibrahim Gusau, the first vice president of the Nigeria Football Federation, Felix Siagu. There was also the general secretary of the Nigeria Football Federation, Dr. Mohammed Sanusi. There was also the chairman technical, Cerezo Ostinde-Guavoin, an ex-international. There was Finidi himself, making 5. And there was also Dayo Enebi, the director of competitions. 6 of them. Now, we are in the country of over 200 million people. In the course of the African Cup of Nations, passionate Nigerians watched the Nations Cup tournament. Unfortunately, we lost some people. People are emotional. They love football passionately. Now, when Finidi was given an opportunity to talk, Finidi said he's not happy with the attitude of the players, especially the way they respond to national team invitation. They stroll into camp. They come to camp at will, which is not good for our preparation. Now, Finidi said if he's to stamp his authority, that he may be reminded that some players are being pampered by eggheads of the Nigerian Football Federation, or probably players have relationship. Now, let me use the word godfathers in the Football Federation. While Finidi continued, he told the Nigerian Football Federation and the sports minister that if all hands are on deck, we can still qualify for the World Cup. Because for the first time, we'll have 3 countries hosting the World Cup in 2026. Germany, Canada, and Mexico. Now, Finidi now continued. He said, if it's to stamp his authority, a lot may happen. Players who have been protected, who have been pampered. And he also made mention of the fact that Victor Osimhen could have probably played for Nigeria despite his injury.
Okay, so he acknowledged that there was an injury?
So, yes, he acknowledged there was an injury. But said, could have played for Nigeria despite his injury. When he said that, I'm not holding brief for Finidi George, but these are what I've been able to gather. And Ostinde-Guavoin interjected and said, Finidi, stamp your authority. Do what you have to do. And he gave an example when he put Yakuba Egbeni on the bench while he was the coach of the national team. Yakuba Egbeni at that point in time was playing in Portsmouth and probably felt he deserves an automatic shirt in the national team because he was doing well. But then, when Eguavoin interjected, Finidi thanked, the sports minister thanked the NFF officials, but who knows? Did Finidi offend the gods when he made mention of the fact that some players have been protected or probably have godfathers in the Super Eagles? Of these 6 people, who told Victor Osimhen that his name came up in the meeting involving the sports minister?
Sorry, no, his name was never mentioned.
No,
it wasn't official.
It was just giving an example. While they were having this meeting, the sports minister was there, the NFF president was there, the first vice president was there, the general secretary was there.
So somebody
told Osimhen all this. Now, see, in the Super Eagles, you have, see, even during the Nations Cup, some fans traveled all the way from Italy. Osimhen is loved by footballers, and I agree with Nima that, you see, Osimhen gives his all on the field of play, no doubt. You can't take that away. Players who have been able to get to a particular height, you don't get there by not working hard. And I give it to Osimhen on the field of play. You can't take that away from him. But the question is, who told Victor Osimhen? One, how was he told? In what manner was he told? So these triggered Victor Osimhen's reaction.
As a Gen Z,
You know, went live and started talking about the fact that I'm passionate, I played while I'm injured, and all that. But then, 2 wrongs don't make it right. If we are looking at issues affecting the national team, issues affecting the Super Eagles, arguably the biggest brand when it comes to sports in Nigeria, and people who are seen as elders and father figures who occupy sensitive positions like this, have gone behind to inform Victor Osimhen. Then, what do you expect? Probably.
They have chopped chicken yash.
Now, probably. Was Finidi right when they said players have been pampered?
they have godfathers.
Was Finidi right when he was talking about probably godfatherism in the Super Eagles? And if he's meant to stamp his authority?
Okay, let me get a few questions in for you.
So this is not the first time. We have been hearing godfatherism in Super Eagles for a very long time. Actually, it's one of the reasons that...
Even in Nigeria now.
Yes, it's one of the reasons why we haven't achieved as much as we could achieve in terms of sports if we were not doing playing favoritism with who gets to be on the squad right from time. It's always been there.
So, Imabino, that's why Finidi now resigned.
No,
they never compounded it. There's another one.
I'm coming to the issue of why Finidi resigned.
Yeah, tell us why Finidi.
Now, did Finidi offend the gods when he made mention of godfatherism and trying to stamp his authority? Finidi was not told in the presence of the sports minister that they will be hiring a foreign coach.
He heard this later.
Finidi got wind of the fact that they'll be hiring a foreign coach. In fact, the first letter, according to reports, the first letter Finidi sent to the NFF, it was not signed. He had to send a second letter, which was signed, that is resigning. Now, the part of the question is this, and I recall that, you know, I kept saying on Sports Desk, who employs a coach 3 weeks to a major championship?
Exactly.
And you see, we've only made Finidi a scapegoat. And this thing will come back to haunt us. But I'm coming to that. Now, in all of this, Finidi felt, okay, the best thing to do was to resign. Because he's an insider, probably. He's an insider, no doubt. And as an insider, he understands the politicking and everything. And he felt this was the time to indeed move on. If you had come earlier to say of all the candidates that applied, this was the best coach. Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest coach in the history of Manchester United, in his first 10 matches as manager of Manchester United, almost lost his job. Let me leave that of coach alone. Now let me come to the issue of Victor Osimhen. Superstar players, sportsmen who have attained that height struggle with attitude problem. Because it gets to their head.
They need reality checks.
And all that. Ego. And that's, yes, ego. As humans, we have our own ego and pride.
Any.
Not to talk of when you are arguing. He's the best player in Africa today.
Number one. It's not easy.
It ain't. You work hard for that. And you let football do the talking. And I give it to Victor Osimhen. But truth be told, when he went live on social media to say all that,
Wrong.
it is a no-no. And while he was doing all that, some of his friends were there and were probably telling him, Victor, calm down, don't do this. Finidi George has also won everything you can think of in football. Won the league with Ajax, won the Champions League. At some point in time, he was adjudged the best right winger in the world.
So it was also
Not just in Africa. The best number 7 player, arguably, in the world.
Ego jam, ego.
But there's something I to some extent...
Can I interrupt you for a second? When Finidi George had all those accolades, was he as...
There wasn't social media.
Was he like Victor Osimhen, arrogant
so there wasn't social media during the days of Finidi George. But I must say something. That during the days of Finidi George, that was when the mafia started in the Super Eagles. And you see, the man who would come out to talk was their best spokesperson, Sunday Ogochukwu Olise. He would dissect any form of English, challenge you and say why this should be this. And Olise fought for the players. And that's why over the years, you see, let me take you back to the year 2009.
Hold on. We are this is not a show. We want to enjoy our... Hold on. Let me enter.
No, you don't discuss.
I'm breaking down.
We like to
down. I'm breaking down.
Hold on. We like to learn.
Yes.
And we like to learn from sport experiences to everyday life.
Yes.
So here we see, you mentioned 2 wrongs don't make it right.
Yes.
We see Finidi George, from my perspective, is someone who have been there.
Yes.
I've experienced this ego you are, what you are doing, I've seen it. And he's also someone who has seen the template of some players not wanting to play some matches. And it might seemingly be judging Osimhen based on what you have seen. And it happens to every one of us, where if everybody has begged you for money because of bribe, or based on lies, you don't know the necessity that is begging you based on reality. You will judge that person based on all of those that were packaging the lies to you. So I see a Finidi that is like, you guys, we are not dealing, you're not letting me do what I want to do as a coach, and you're pampering this person and all of that. And the reaction of Osimhen too was wrong. Now, based on where we are now, Finidi George, he have resigned. They've accepted his resignation. Osimhen has blown hot. Whoever is coming into the scene, what are the lessons? How can the person now deal with Osimhen? What message is NFF putting on ground for superstar players that they can do and undo and get away? Or should we now say we have also suspended Osimhen permanently and he will not play again?
I was going back in time, but let me also address the issue of the NFF and Osimhen. The NFF made a press release yesterday that it is not true that Osimhen has been banned from playing for the Super Eagles. And that is not true. You know, Osimhen was never banned. And I was going back in time. Years back, they used to have what they call code of conduct for players in the Super Eagles. When you are in the camp of the national team, there is what they call code of conduct. Do's, don'ts, and all that. It was very strict. I'm not sure, you know, these things are still there, just the way it was years back.
This NFF is not new that, you know, we have NFF as a body has this C finish for Nigerian coaches. We saw what Keshi went through till his death.
Of blessed memory.
Of blessed memory. What he went through as a coach, even though he was a winning coach, his team was doing well. He was well disrespected. We even was owed his entitlement. And now we are seeing a replay of it in Finidi George. And how, because NFF as a body lacks the respect they should give to a Nigerian coach, even though his records are there. What's the other one that resigned the other time and went abroad and came back? He's still alive. And, you know, we see how do you then evoke that respect from a footballer who is earning his living, doing well, even can pay a coach. How do you evoke that respect from a Victor Osimhen or his likes abroad? When NFF as a body, see finish of our Nigerian coaches.
You know, you've said it on when you made mention of the issue of Stephen Okechukwu Keshi. Keshi, for example, in 2013, while the Nations Cup was ongoing, they had already bought tickets for our players to return home because the first 2 games the Eagles didn't win, and the NFF then felt it was going to be tough. They didn't believe in Keshi. Keshi even, you know, despite winning the Nations Cup for Nigeria, they didn't get that respect it deserves. It's just like saying a prophet is never honored in his own land.
You know, like,
and then...
Till today, he hasn't been paid.
Oh.
You know, the issue of Keshi is very, very sad. You know, till death. I was one journalist who had access to Stephen Keshi, and Keshi was a man of the people, right from his playing days, and trying to inculcate that culture into the Super Eagles today could be very difficult if coaches are not given free hand, if Nigerian coaches are not being given the kind of respect foreign coaches are being given. Just the way Finidi was trying to explain that these are some of the challenges, these are some of the things I have seen. And if I'm to stop my authority, a lot may happen.
Would you recommend,
a lot has happened.
Would you recommend, if you had the opportunity, that those 6 people that were in that meeting should be fired? The reason, because confidential information got out within, because if I was a board, if I was the president,
or the minister,
because this is such a huge breach of position, breach of authority. You had a conversation, and in that meeting, someone leaked it to one of the players. I would sack them all.
No, I will take them to a juju man.
You cannot be a leader if you can't have a confidential conversation. Like managers are having, directors are having a meeting, and then somebody said this is confidential, but we're not supposed to mention it. You're not going to tell one of your managers, you know that director.
Are you sure somebody did not put phone on speaker? Because Osimhen must have heard. Because even from, you know, the reference, if he hears it, you know, if Morel says to Tokwe, Nima Sijab is sitting where, Morel Tokwe says to me, Nima Sijab, put not inside.
Yes,
now. By the time he gets to Antieni, Tapscata.
Exactly.
If Osimhen hears that is unappreciated by a club where he give, by a team, the national team that gives his all, someone that brings his entire A game to a match, how do you think he would respond? You now see the rants in that video as addressing people he thinks.
So what would you recommend?
Let me talk about that. Now, you see, football is a bit different. And one of the challenges, you know, football have in developing countries and in Africa in general is the fact that there is so much money in football. And you see, when FIFA is giving Nigerian money for participating in competitions and all, it's in foreign currency. You're talking about millions of US dollars. Now, there are also rules guiding football. You don't interfere with football matters because those who were elected or those who are in charge today from the NFF president were elected. So the football constitution from the Federation of International Football Association, the body that oversees football, does not appreciate political interference. Else, you know, and that is why years back, when we're in similar situation, what was set up then was, this book was given to me, for example, by Dr. Patrick Ekeji. And then he gave me this book in 2014 in Abuja. And page 123 of this book talked about when Nigeria was in a similar situation like this 10 years ago, 14 years ago in 2010. There were issues on the field of play. Nigeria wasn't doing well. And the then president felt Nigerians are passionate about football. What do we do from here? There's a lot of money in this. And the attitude we're getting from the players is not what we're getting. Some of these players, to a large extent, may not understand what patriotism could be like, in quotes, especially, you see, when you are a footballer and you want to be like Ronaldinho, you aspire to be like a JJ or a musician. If you never met a fella, you may never understand who fella it was. But meeting him could probably change some of, you know, your ideology and everything. Now, bringing people to support the Nigerian Football Federation, what was done years back, and that was known as the Presidential Task Force, not sacking the board of the Nigerian Football Federation for what they've done.
Gotcha.
Because FIFA may suspend Nigeria for such and may ban Nigeria from participating in any football competition.
Okay. You have just done that in one sentence, actually. But I get the point.
So I needed to break it down.
Yeah, it's fine. We have to wrap up with you in a moment. But Nima Wake, you have a question?
Because he said, you know, there are a few issues here that I feel we should highlight. Nigeria has a problem of not appreciating things that are Nigerian. We like the foreigners. We respect the foreigners. So a foreign coach probably wouldn't have been treated like this. A foreign coach will probably have gotten more respect and more freedom to do what they want to do. And we need to work on it, both in football and in other areas.
All right, we have to wrap up.
I need to read a couple of comments for you because Bobby Roland says, I don't believe Finidi was up to the job. However, that doesn't excuse Osimhen irresponsible outburst. And then Mr. Pepple says, please, man, so why will Finidi George go to the board? Rather defend the bad results. He wanted to hang Osimhen to save his job.
Gen Z comments.
No,
let me take.
But there was a bad outing in Benin Republic.
Can you briefly just quickly talk about? Do you have a call?
You have a call.
Okay.
Elijah's calling. Thanks for calling. You're live. Hello, sir. Hello. Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead. You're live.
Thank you very much, Morai. And good morning. My point is this. I just want to, correct one impression from your guest. The body, which you mentioned they are elected, I don't think Nigerians elect them by voting. Point of correction. I think they're duly appointed by the president. Nigeria does not elect them, they were appointed. So, and at the same time, I think it's a lesson for Nigeria. The pampering of Nigerian Football Association is selecting those people from abroad because their efforts is too much and it's making us backward. So we have some fashionable players in this country. Let us go to the grassroots. Nigerian footballers, the origin, interested footballer that is already in Nigeria. Let's continue to groom them. This issue, it has been a kind of recurring issue. So in enough of pampering of this, international, Nigerian players. So let's learn our lesson. Enough is enough because their ego is just too much. It is not today and it has been occurring.
Thank you, Elijah Super. I didn't hear what most of his said.
Let me take some messages.
He's saying that
the board is not
elected. Who votes for them?
But they were actually elected, though.
Well, that's his own. So
we have very few minutes there. Let Nima add her own question so you can answer it.
Ogumola Emmanuel says respect is reciprocal. You can't disrespect a young person just because you are older. If what was done to Osimhen was supposed to generate a reaction, then we can't dictate how you should respond. When these players get injuries and careers end, there's no insurance or guarantees for them. Okoyemi Stephen says it's all over social media that Finidi mentioned Osimhen's name while addressing the minister and co, and that's before Osimhen started heaping curses on him. Someone said even though his name was mentioned, his behavior was unwarranted and that he should apologize to the coach.
Can I just ask, so do you think that Finidi George was a bad coach?
No. There is no way in the world where you give a coach just 2 games or 4 games to determine how good he is. Mikel Arteta, the manager of Arsenal today, when he was given the job years back, his first 5 games, some fans were saying, sack Arteta. So there is no way in the world where you just assess a coach with 2 games and say he's not good. No. Finidi is only a scapegoat.
He was not connecting. He was not connecting to the players. Tron is also saying it. Osimhen is right. You could see that the way the players played the game, they did not like the coach. There's a part of leading. There's a leadership role that a coach plays.
I guess in 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks, he hasn't connected. He could command the respect.
In 3 weeks, it was too early. There's a difference between being an assistant coach and being the lead coach. a massive difference. And what I felt, the NFF should have done was to address all these issues internally. And also, if they had not taken a decision that they were going for a foreign coach, Finidi wouldn't have thought of resigning. All these issues should have... See, bring your patriotism to the table. We are having crisis. Let's fight and secure the World Cup tickets.
Oh, man, I have to wrap up.
Which is the main goal.
We're running out of time.
NFF, are they bad representation of Nigeria?
They are Nigeria.
That's a very
End of
strong
conversation.
question.
They-
Something,
No.
the tweet, Nima said something about how you can't predict the response you get. Same thing. I learned that from Housewives show yesterday. I mean, I said that show is opening my eyes to a lot of things because I learned something that somebody said there was a message that one of the ladies put into the WhatsApp, and it was fairly mild, but the response she got, oh my goodness, came 10 times more. And I was like, that's totally unfair. Why would you say so much? But then I was hearing people that it's one thing to say one thing, but you don't know, you cannot predict.
don't know the state
You don't
of the
predict
bomb you threw
cannot
fire.
response.
So one
that
is a bomb sitting down. You threw fire. Maybe it's matches you threw. You don't know the...
So
whether the gallon
it is
is
a
full of
new
fuel.
value because when we were growing up,
That's
if you like, slap it. When you're growing up,
conditioned.
you don't know don't care about the situation of the person. You throw something at you, you better hold yourself. But here, in today's times, I will come with my full 100 and I will stab it right back at you.
Finally,
But he
in some
didn't throw it.
seconds,
It was somebody that went to gossip now.
finally, in some seconds, I must just say this. The issues have not been addressed. They were only swept under the carpet.
Okay.
And
As
if you
is
think
normal with
Osimhen was
NFF.
probably a bomb, there could be more bomb.
Please make YK the chairman of the NFF so we can move forward. That is all we can take on this segment. If we give you 2 seconds, you're taking over our show. 2 hours is not enough for you, Mini. I have a guest we have to bring on, please. But that's all. But thank you very much. It was a pleasure. We'll have to bring you back. We'll give a day for sports because it seems like we got lots of comments. People are interested in sports. Ladies of your view have never considered. Maybe only one Nima is interested in sports. We have never done sports, so we'll bring you back.
I even want to do this one.
We'll do
NFF is my problem.
No problem. We'll make you chairman. Let's go on a shop because when we come back, we bring our proper Thursday guest. Come and gist, family gist and relationship matters. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So many Nigerians had seen the Finidi versus Osimhen saga as just another player versus coach disagreement that will fade away with time. But to some, this is the perfect occasion for the NFF to stamp their feet on indiscipline among national team players by coming down hard on Victor Osimhen. So recently, the story of how Victor disrespected former coach of the senior national team of Nigeria, Finidi George, over a rumor that Finidi had said he won't beg Osimhen to come play for Nigeria, implying that the injury that Osimhen had claimed hindered him from playing for Nigeria is false. Now, we'll be bringing on our correspondent, Mie Akiri, who's a TVC News sports producer and reporter, to join us after a few moments. But first, we'd like to hear your own thoughts and hear the ladies' views, because there are different parts of this story. There's the sports part of it, and there's the respect part of it, which I'd like us to touch on. And then maybe Mia can come in and tell us the backstories of the sports angle. But you can go join the conversation. Call us on 081 0764 1679 090 63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. All right, so the whole backstory, I know Mia would give us that later, but we've seen this on social media a lot. It happens with Wole Soyinka, who say something and young people just say, because you don't agree with him. It happened with so many other, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, says she posts something, and young people just go after him. Now, go after her. In this situation, the coach had made a decision that maybe one of the players, Victor, does not agree. Some of the players may not agree that you are being misled. You don't believe what I have told you, that I have injury. That's why I couldn't show up. But he, as the coach, took a decision. And even instead of Victor possibly finding a way to talk to him one-on-one, went on social media to rant. And now we've seen that happen, where young people just use this tool called social media to express their grouse on various issues. What are your thoughts on this? Because I'd like us to focus on that a bit before we bring in Mian to tell us the sports angle of it.
Okay, go on.
Go ahead. Let's start.
So for me, it's just a case of whatever you do today, you will reap it in future. People know you as the superstar Victor Osimhen now, and he's taking that opportunity to express himself in and use not so nice language to express someone that is older and has also served the country. But majority of people that were commenting did not know who Finidi George was. So they were like wondering, like Osimhen is the star of the moment, and everybody was supporting. They were talking to him. Only the older ones that knew Finidi George were saying that this stardom that is entering your head right now, Finidi George was there. People knew him. Very soon there will be a generation that will not know you, and they will disrespect you as well. So I strongly believe that right from time, coaches have always had to parley and lobby and appeal to star players to play for the country, especially Nigerian. And Victor, that was what Finidi George was addressing, that he's not going to appeal to any star player to play for Nigeria. And if you lie against that you're having injury that I cannot play, all good. Victor took it personal that his injury was valid and that Finidi George was attacking him, and then he went on straight to attack him as well. Okay. And that for me shows that we're not willing to listen to one another. We're not putting the interest of the nation above personal interest on both sides. If personally I feel that this player would help my team win, the team is number one. No, I would put the team forward. If a player also feels that my presence in the team would make my country win and make my team win, I would make that sacrifice. So the team and the goal should be number one, not personal ego or showing that I am the one, I'm the coach. I used to serve this country, I'm going to resign, and now you have resigned. What do we do?
Let me come to you.
Okay, so for me, what I understand from this is not only Osimhen's story that made Finidi resign. The comportment of the NFF was part of why he resigned, and now Nigerians also reacted after the loss of the match in Benin Republic. Osimhen insists with a medical report that he had an injury. He had gone to an hospital where his international football club is, and he got a medical report that he sent to the NFF saying, I cannot be part of a match, this particular match coming up, but I would like to be in the stadium to give moral support to my co-players. The coach, Finidi George, thinks, oh, you want to be in stadium, that means you're picking and selecting which match to play in. And so he says because of his experience, he has seen Nigerian footballer when they are big boys abroad in Europe, they come back and do these things back home. And so he felt that was what Osimhen was trying to do. And so the back and forth started between the two of them, who we go believe, who we go trust. And just as Tokwe said, they did not know what to do. I saw the video Osimhen did. In that video, he did not hold back anything. As in the most vulgar words, he went at everybody supporting Finidi George as well as Finidi George in that video, which was something that, we should speak against. But the fact that, somebody comes with a medical report is not trusting enough for the coach himself is another matter to be concerned about. How often do players bring medical reports that are fake? How often do their medical report, and which hospitals do you not trust the medical report from? Would you have preferred that Osimhen's medical report was coming from a general hospital in Nigeria? Or what exactly is the basis that you will not trust
Too many lies.
So, yes. Where is the lie?
Well, you see, when we were growing up, sometimes it wasn't about if our leader was right or wrong. It's usually about obey first. It was more of like, okay, listen, yes, I have been suspended. I will still defend myself, but I obey first. Because I remember, I'll come to you, YK. Now, and I'm going to mention this on TV. The director of news, Steladine Jacob, they know her as the general in other places she has worked before she came here. And I was privileged to be in Abuja once, where I won't mention this person's name. I had an opportunity to hang out with a colleague in the industry. And she told me she gave me a beautiful box of gifts to send to Stella Dean Jacob for her. She just had a baby, and I'm wondering, you know SDJ? She said, yes, now. She said, this lovely lots of gifts. And I was wondering, how come you're sending so much? I said, only if you know what SDJ has done in my life. She now said, give me a few scenarios. She now said, when she was a young reporter, she would go on TV, she'll be nervous. The woman would walk her out on live TV. She would goof. And she would tell her to her face, you know how back then, how we used to do the hard, there's what they call it.
Tough love.
Tough love. She brushed her up, but you see, that's what made her, right now the lady she's a popular TV presenter, everybody knows her name. She said, she helped me. Now, God forbid SDJ does that to anybody today.
It's bullying. They will go on social media.
They'll call you bullying. They'll put her on social media. They'll say, what's the evidence that this style that she did, can you give us an evidence that what she did was wrong? You know, things are different. So the way the place Finidi George is coming from is where coaches were tough. If you don't show up, you get out. I don't care how big you are. But today, they are stars. They're international stars. You know, we have to pamper them. If you both have to pamper them, so why are you not to pamper them? You know, there's always so many different angles. So my question now is it that our values have changed? Or is it that we those of us who are, should we change the way we treat the new generation of not just youngsters, but even stars? You know, everybody, a new actress, a new age actress wants to be treated differently than maybe Genevieve Naji. She wants to come in and everybody knows her and they're all screaming and Genevieve is wondering what's wrong with this one.
Okay,
you know, so is it a new world where these people don't want to be corrected? You're right. Victor might have all the right reasons. He might have the evidences. But what happens to, okay, my boss has suspended me, goof, accept the punishment, and then go and say, but Salga, I have evidence. It was true. That's what we would have done when we were younger.
So we respect people.
Because that's how we were trained.
Well, where is the case for injustice? If you are treated unjustly, if you are treated, I mean, what if it was a jail term that I was to receive?
Instead of suspension.
Instead of suspension.
And you prove yourself respectfully.
So I will go into jail.
No, you respect yourself.
How would I? Because you are saying obey before complain. So if you go into jail because you said I should obey before complain, I will go and be a jailbird.
No, I think what she's saying is obey and complain politely. The complaint was not done in a polite way.
I agree because I watched the video. I agree. I don't think Finidi George. Not Finidi, Victor Osimhen did the right thing by going on social media like that. Even his people were even telling him, come, cool down. No, God go punish everybody. So plus the Finidi George, plus anybody else who disagreed.
Yes.
He was cursing everybody.
Yeah.
I think he went a bit out of line. Not a bit, a lot out of line. But he was probably feeling justified because he felt he was wrongly accused.
Exactly.
Was it today that they wrongly accused you, YK?
So no. It's balanced.
Osimhen is a very patriotic footballer. We know. We've seen his work and how he puts himself out there. Some footballers...
I will let Mia come and give us that information. Because none of us here know. We can see him on TV.
Some of us are his fans.
There's nobody that knows not their fan. We know. Let me go on a short break. When we come back, let us bring in Mia. He will give us a better perspective. So I agree with Nima, if indeed he's a patriot. Because the truth is that I like to see this from different angles. There's a sports angle, there's a respect angle, and there's the Gen Z angle.
Okay.
There's a Gen Z angle.
Recently, he went to his old school and went to see his teacher with gifts and everything, and everybody hailed him for it. So that is not a person that is not respectful.
Okay, I can do that for the gram now. What are you talking about? Let's go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guests with us. So this story we're talking about, I'm going to link it up to a story we saw with Dang, Diary of a Niger Girl, where a gentleman says he's been dating a girl for 3 months. And he really likes the girl, but he's not ready for marriage. And she's already asking him, how far now? What's going on? You know, that where is this leading? Because the girl has been coached by people like you and everybody that, like, once you are dating somebody in 3 months, if he's not giving you any green light, he's not serious, there might be a padlock guy that will not let you move. You know, and he's like, I don't want to lose this girl, but I'm not ready for marriage at this time. So what would you advise a woman in that kind of situation? Because that's the same thing. I'm not ready for marriage.
Yeah. So it depends on where people are coming from. I had 14 heartbreaks and 1 divorce.
14 what?
Before I got married again.
14 heartbreaks and 1 divorce.
Yes. So before I got married the second time.
Please, before you go on, I have to interrupt you. How was each heartbreak? Did you cry? Did you or it was just, okay, move on.
Of course, I was crying and falling on the ground. But after a while, let's the goal to get married. Let's go.
Wahala.
So that's why I was saying that it depends on where people are coming from. You understand? As a therapist, trauma pushes a lot of people to make decisions. My story was the fact that I wanted to get married to please my dad. I had a child at 19, and my dad had told me, nobody will marry you. They will marry only virgins. So and I told myself, I'll prove this man wrong and make sure I got married. So any guy I saw,
you're ready to.
the goal was to get married. You understand? And if the guy told me, I would ask you from the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll be like, why? Of course, you know. And then maybe after 6 months, they'll run away. You get. And I did get married too. So that question depends on who is in the shoes. Do you understand, of that situation?
You're taking us to a new window that we'd like to explore further.
Okay.
At what point in your first marriage did you feel that you had to do it? Because a Nigerian woman being divorced is never easy.
Yeah.
And I would really like to get a bit of your experience. At what point did you say, I'm done with this marriage? And what triggered it?
Okay, so like I said, the reason why I got married was to show my dad that, Daddy, what you said was not true.
Okay.
You know, so the marriage was dead on arrival. Why? Because the person I was getting married to, I saw all the red signs, but because I wanted to be validated. You understand? So that was what made me enter that marriage. So from the beginning, there were twists and turns, but you know, a Nigerian woman, you must do it. You cannot leave. You are a Christian. People will still laugh at you. Something that you told yourself that you must marry and all of that. But as time went on, you know, I said I had a child before. I had another child, and then you begin to realize I was 34 at that time, and I told myself, or 33, that is this what I'm going to face for the rest of my life? What if I get to live to 80, 90? Do you understand? Is this what I'm going to face for the rest? Am I going to be this unhappy where the person, you resent the person so much, you're just snapping everywhere, cranky, and you know, when people are in an unhappy marriage, people want to do terrible things, criminal things to themselves and to the other party. You know, it got to that point. So I just told myself,
You wanted to kill him?
Yeah, the person, or even you yourself, maybe let me end it all. Because you don't really want to kill anyone, but you just want to end the pain. That's what people do. So that's why you seek solutions from different places. And it's easier to be called a widow than to be called a divorcee. You understand? So, and me, I chose, let us be divorced. It was, you know, at the point, at that time, nobody, in fact, my dad had died, number one. My mom, I had to run away to Abuja. I took my 2 kids and ran away, left Lagos. And then, of course, I'm already a coach, I'm already a therapist. So what are you teaching? What are you coaching? What are you? And then my mom was like, you know, she'll come to my house, cry early in the morning. It's not going to happen. What do you want people to say? You know, so those are the things, you know, that make people think, let me stay, even though I'm unhappy inside this thing. And then people will be cheating by the side. People will be doing different things. People will be practicing different things. You know, so but thankfully today, I'm remarried. After, you know, I was
properly
with documents and family coming together. You get, so that was
so very interesting story. Well, I mean, it's an interesting angle to this, because the truth is that a lot of women get into this for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
And just like you said, you know, because because of this pressure from
Peer
home,
pressure.
peer pressure to get this thing called marriage certificate.
Yes.
They do a lot of things. And that's why I wanted to demystify the certificate. And that's why I also like the way Nima said it that it's not about the certificate, it's about when both families, so even if these two people say, we are coming together, family knows each other, you are committed, there's no cheating anywhere. You might not want the document, but if there's serious commitment, but the document might help you. Because if you're not an empowered woman, you will need that document to make claims in future. But if you're an empowered woman...
But even if you're an empowered woman, what if we build a house together? Do you understand?
There's documents now.
Your full name now.
All those
documents.
So I won't.
The level of security, those things don't worry you. I always say it, okay, you build the house together, all of you, because women do these things. When we sit in the office and they come, I built with him 30 years of my life, and then you go and marry somebody else. I say, what guarantees you that when you're alive that you will reap that thing? That you're so focused on it. What if everything is given to you, and one morning, one night, the king of things come and thief it? Fire, happen, everything goes.
Everything in one day.
Are you, yes.
What if we have businesses together? What if we have billions together?
Have you not seen people on their sick bed wishing they had their health over all the things that they had?
Or they are like Heritage Bank. You just close with your money.
Oh my goodness.
Please,
let me come into this, the idea of marriage, documentation, commitment, and how young ladies are actively waiting to understand where we are. Is because for many people, when you get in, when the relationship wants to break up, you will hear things like, the person moves on. We didn't have an agreement. We didn't have an agreement that we are like, the girl is in a relationship in her head. Me and her, we were just friends. But so girls want to take it from, am I dating this guy in my head, to are we dating ourselves? So, you know, the relationship model now is not, they don't toast anymore. They're just friends. Then the friendship will not lead to touching, and we start vibing. And the vibing now goes into intimacy.
I am a coach.
And then you get intimate, but there was no clearly defined, like we were just friends, and one day, one thing led to another, and it happened. And we realized that we have chemistry, and the chemistry is now become a consistent biology. So that happens, but we never defined the relationship. 3 months have gone down the line of constant biology, and the girl has to ask herself, what are we doing? Because if you now meet the guy tomorrow with another babe eating lunch, oh, hi, meet my friend. You will sit down, join the lunch. They are talking, you are talking, but because you cannot say it's cheating because you never defined the relationship. So it is important to know what we are doing. It's like me, I should be strolling to TVC every day. Under what, guys? Salary will not come at the end of the month because there was no defined arrangement. So I think it's important guys get comfortable with being asked, what are we doing?
Yes.
What are we doing does not mean I'm putting you under pressure.
When is the right time to ask that?
Okay, so for me, the best time is the beginning.
It's not too early.
No, so it depends. That's why I said, it depends on who. Is it somebody like me that had 14 heartbreaks?
I wouldn't know your history. I just met you. I don't know your history.
We talk in the beginning. So no, the thing is, and also it depends on age. It depends on goals. It depends on plans.
Is that goal?
Do you understand?
Is that
the goals are very key.
Don't leave goals.
So if you have sat down as a woman, by 45, by 40, I want to be done having kids, I want to get married, and then I meet a man, and then he's saying we are coasting. I'll be nice to you. So it's better in the beginning. What are your goals? It's not like you put the person under pressure. You understand? Like, what do you want to do? What's your plan? Do you understand?
Men don't like this conversation.
And so they will not like it because you are taking a old woman being inside your confine.
I think...
What happened to just fall in love, going to the movies?
Can't we just have a relationship? Okay, we are seeing each other. Okay, let me use my nephew as a case study or as an example. Before he met his present wife, he was having relationships with girls, and he would say to them, this is just a friendship where we like each other, it's not going anywhere.
From the beginning.
From the beginning, he would tell them. But the girls, he has told them, when they
Because
him
Coach
with
Lara
another
has told them that you must believe. It's what you go for what you want. You must hold. You just walk out like that. No, you're not going anywhere. We are here. I'll cook for you. I'll see your money.
I told you from the beginning.
The beginning. The beginning.
Why, do you know many people have told us from the beginning and then change their mind? People can. He's a human being. He can change his mind.
People in marriage,
His present wife.
change.
His only wife. His wife. Sorry. Let me define before they say I say something else. His wife. When they first met, it was just go your way, I go. We're just meeting. We like each other. We're friends. When they decided to go serious, they now decided to go to become. Before that, she was content with the relationship.
Yes,
the friendship.
It was a relationship, but it was not
defined to marriage.
Nothing marriage. You could see anybody you wanted to see. I can see. We are not serious. When they decided to become serious, it was now a serious relationship. They had defined it from the beginning. So you can define. Look, I'm just having fun.
Okay.
Yes.
It can become something
bigger.
Okay, but men don't want to just have fun. Men want to go and do biology. Your own fun is go and watch movie and have dinner. A man's fun is we must do biology.
Biology, yes. So that is why.
So if you don't want biology, sorry.
You will say it. You will mention it.
You go to physics.
That we're just friends.
We're just friends.
We're just friends. Since our
But you
friendship
can
does not
lose
have a
him.
future, since our friendship does not have a defined future, then let's not complicate this friendship with biology and physics. Let's just be friends.
Again.
Or we can even have
Everything
somebody
that has to
that
do
does
with
not
it.
also mind. Do you understand?
Doesn't mind what?
That doesn't mind,
Getting physically intimate
you
and then
understand?
no commitment.
And no commitment. If that is the person's goals
We are
too.
different, so.
Do you understand? It just depends on people's
depends on
values.
the chemistry, as I'm talking about
do you
biology.
understand? But if you know that your plan is to get married, that's the most important thing. What is your goal? That's where it starts from. What is your goal in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years?
It's good to know. Interesting.
Is that
But have
good?
to come to watch your plan.
Let me just quickly put in something regarding the goals and all of that. I also think that it's important if you carry yourself and you meet someone, how are you doing? My name is Apoy, I'm single, but I have plans to marry. It's from the get-go. I'm not single, I'm just enjoying myself. Something like that, I'm single, I'm not searching, we're just friends. So we know from the beginning.
And girls think it's cool to that. I'm saying I'm not searching.
I'm not. Yes, if you're single and not searching, you cannot just change your mind. But if you're single and you are interested in getting married, it's a conversation you just have.
Right.
Just like I'm going to school.
Yeah.
I'm an accountant. I'm a makeup artist. I'm single, but I have strong goals to get married very early. Yeah. So it's already out there. So women should not be shy about proclaiming what they desire, because they don't want to be seen as being hungry. Don't. If you are not hungry, they say I'm single. I don't want to do anything. I'm content with my life. We're friends.
So, Coach Lara, what if two people agree? All these liberal people just explain that the two of them agree, and one person, as time goes by, says, "Oh, I don't align anymore. I want to change my goal." You know what happens?
So people change their mind to in marriage now. So that's where you go for therapy, counseling to see what is there a problem? If there's a problem that we need to fix.
No, it's no problem. Before, I just want to float. What do you call it? Coast. Now I want to born children and have marriage.
And so we'll have the conversation too. If I am willing to compromise for you, it's possible. Sometimes
it has
you
to be
like
your goal. Don't compromise.
No. Sometimes you like the person more. As time goes on, you realize that, yes, I have my goals, I have my plan, but I want this person with me. You understand? At that point, you can now decide, are my goals strong enough to compromise for this person? Or I will choose my goals over this person. It's now your
I know you have an event coming up, because I would just like to spend the last few minutes to tell our viewers what you're working on, because you're a coach. These are the kind of things you do to help people. So tell us
it's
about
called the Flat Fiesta. And flat means finding love after trauma. Because like I said, that was my own story. Before after trauma. Finding love after trauma. And it's targeted towards the singles, married, and divorced people. And the reason is this. We have panelists. We have different panelists for different sessions. The first session is for single people. We're bringing single people that are coming to say, I am single and I'm thriving.
Yeah.
I hope to get married someday, but I'm not billing somebody 20 million, you know,
Ahead of the
after,
time.
you understand, ahead of time. Because now the narrative out there on social media is if you are single, you are miserable. Collect money, ask them 20 million, ask them 50 million. So that's one of the things I am, and my husband wants to correct. Then the married people, panelists, you understand, they are also coming to encourage other married people. Because that's another story for another day. Marriages are no longer cool to a lot of people. Like we are hearing now, let's do partnership. Why should we marry? Or let's do trans whatever. Let's bring other people inside. Let's do so many different things. And the narrative out there seems to be like marriage is slavery. I just saw it. Somebody wrote it this morning that I don't like slavery, anything that will put me inside slavery. So meanwhile, some people are actually thriving. It's not all fun. It's not all everyday happiness, you understand? But they are actually thriving. So we're bringing those people to come and encourage, share what they are doing is making them thrive. Then the divorce session, because I used to be divorced, and I see that society don't associate with them, you understand? People that are divorced, they tell me all the time, in church, nobody creates anything for them. In nowhere, in mosque, nobody cares about them. And sometimes, a lot of times, it's not even their fault, but they are humans. So we're also bringing panelists for that segment to say, I have divorced and I am healing. These are the things I'm doing, you understand? And primarily, I would, of course, share my own story for being divorced and then getting remarried, you understand? And then my husband is coming there to talk because he used to be married and his wife died. You get, so those are...
So you have children from different, like, so your husband,
Yes.
your husband have kids?
Yes, he has one child. I have two.
You have one from your previous
married.
Your first 19-year-old?
Yes.
Then your previous marriage?
My first daughter, I had her when I was 19. She's 22 now.
Yes.
So I have my son from that last marriage.
Yes.
He's 10.
And now you have, what do
So
you
we have a
have?
blended family.
yes.
Blended. So
Yes.
I love that because lots of families have blended family, but they don't know how to handle it.
Yes.
They're having the Davidos, all the other celebrities,
God.
and they all seem to be confused. But
Yes,
it'd be
yes.
great to know how you're managing your own blended family.
Yes, yes.
Are the mothers involved somehow?
Oh, yes, because you have to, before you even get married, you have to make sure, ask everybody, what's going on? Nobody needs to be hiding anything from, you understand? And then you have to also put the kids. The kids are the most important, you understand, in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
You get, there's mothers, there's also fathers.
Fathers.
You understand? For instance, my ex-husband just told me the other day, I'm coming on Saturday to take our son for swimming. Yeah. And I have to tell my husband, and there's nothing wrong with that. You get what I mean? So everybody has to be in harmony.
And they're all civil.
That's the most important.
Are they all civil?
thing. Yes.
I mean, that's really interesting.
It's very important. If not, you will damage the children. Nobody needs to be forced to take sides. You understand? I want to go to one daddy. Everybody needs to be civil. And what makes you civil, what helps you civil is when you heal. That's why I will mention therapy. Because after you break up, there will be that annoyance, that anger. He did this, she did that. But when you go to therapy, when you heal, you drain the bitterness.
I like that word.
You understand? Yes.
bitterness.
So it's easier for you guys to come together, you understand, and now have conversations.
The men, how do you get the men to drain the bitterness? Because women, we can easily go for counseling, but for
Yes.
men, they don't know how to remove that bitterness because they're angry.
Yes.
How can you leave me? Who do you think you are?
And you will always show up. You show up
What
in
happens
how they marry.
when let's say, for instance, the separated parties who are co-parenting, when one of them continuously repeats it, okay, for instance, maybe at the time of the marriage, you would disagree with every decision the mother took about the child. Now that she's remarried, and he still carries it out all the time.
There has
How
to
does
be
she
ground
heal?
rules, especially the people that have custody of the children. There has to be boundaries, there have to be ground rules. So if you are not obeying the ground rules, you'll be cut off at some point because you cannot mess the children up. You cannot mess my marriage up. It's not possible. You understand? That is why before anybody gets married, make sure everybody sits together and have conversations.
You know, we have to wrap up. I like this because I hope that lots of women who are going through this can come for your conference because there are lots of people that divorce.
Yes.
They want to start off again, but they don't realize that healing is a big part of it.
Yes.
They don't know how to, some men don't even know how to relate with their ex-wives, with their current wives.
Yes.
And many people don't understand this issue of blended family. So it'd be great to hear your story and how your marriage is
And it's
thriving.
happening on June 29th from 10 a.m. you know, to
Hope
5
it's free,
p.m.
because
It's
what-
not free.
Ah,
Oh.
you can't
It's
tell
not
us
free.
anything else, because you have to go and pay TBC.
Go to your page.
Because go to your page. for
Yeah,
that.
go to my
You can't-
page,
Yes, you can't
yes.
have you can't detail the date and time. Because
Yeah.
so, but thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, that is all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.